There's a couch.
You're like, I can't sleep on the floor. There's piles of dog shit all over.
Yeah. We got all these pre-made tuna sandwiches ready to go.
She probably, if she continued doing things like that, she probably got murdered.
Yeah.
Modern Gentleman, A Gentleman's Guide to Dangerous Living.
Ugh. Let me spell it then, it's M-O-D-E-R-N, gentlemen. M-O-D-E-R-N, gentlemen.
Touring,
that's where we were just talking about that.
We did the first tour we did then was from the Midwest to the West Coast.
Yep, okay, so we did in 2010, which would have been 10 years ago, we did a bunch of touring for Modern Gentlemen. And
that would have been 2009, I think. The Search for Bigfoot tour?
No, that was 2010.
Oh yeah, we started booking
Probably planning it in 2009, yep.
And then we hit the road sometime in January.
Yep, it was January.
And that Modern Gentleman wasn't like officially on that
right
bill in a way.
Yep,
but
that's true.
We were both on the tour.
We just started making music together, and we had toured as separate acts along with Legitimate and another person. And just kidding, Matt. And then we started doing Modern Gentleman songs on that tour, and that kind of solidified more of the project idea too at the same time.
Because we had about 5 or 6 songs ready. I don't know if they were all ones that were on the album, but we had enough where we were doing
the ones on the album for sure. Yeah, so that was 2010, and we did a West Coast tour from the Midwest all the way over to the California, up and down a bunch of places, and then looped back around. And that was, remember how many cities or shows? It was quite a few.
It was, your 20? Memory with that is better.
I don't know, it was a bunch.
It was a bunch. We started we left from Superior. I remember
in Wisconsin,
you just picked me up. And Larry had his big bag. We have to talk about the big bag of tuna sandwiches.
Yep, okay.
So he pre-made. He thought that instead of just like putting tuna in a container and bringing bread. And Larry, I love you, but this was one of the grossest things ever.
Yep.
He just put the tuna on the sandwiches and wrapped them up. And put them, in the bread bag.
He kept them all
in the
together.
bread bag.
Yeah, I think it was just a plastic, like a grocery bag. He stacked them in there.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And they were all just together, stacked up tuna sandwiches, pre-made, like into the cooler, into the water
the top of the
cooler, and then the ice melted. So then it was all just gross. And then we opened the cooler, and it just smelled like tuna. And
I think that lasted like 3 days before we threw it out when because he thought that was gonna last him like half the tour.
He was like, oh, don't worry about food. We're set. We got all these pre-made tuna sandwiches ready to go. It's disgusting.
And yeah, I think it was about 3 days in. We were at a gas station, and he was inside, and we threw the rest of them away.
I remember he was like, no, they're still fine. I think he tried to eat one still or something, but no.
He probably would have eaten them just to...
prove himself right.
Right. That was the very first memory. So the first show...
We went to North Dakota. Played with Blind Joe. Cool, like singer, songwriter, guitar player who's blind, and we played a couple shows in North Dakota, I think.
And I remember right away into it, I think like what was supposed to be like our third show and one of our biggest money making ones, that like canceled because we were following up about getting there, and it was one I know I didn't set that one up. Maybe Larry did. Maybe. Or Matt, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But I remember then they were talking to the guy, and their sound guy bailed, like quit the club and took all the gear, and they didn't have anything going on. Okay. And I was like, fuck that, try to get our guarantee. We got guarantees, but we didn't have a contract.
Right, it was all verbal.
And we weren't at a point where we could really ask for someone to sign. Maybe, but they weren't going to uphold it anyway. There was nothing.
Yeah. We were lucky to get whatever guarantee we could, pretty much. And,
yeah, we spent like a whole bunch of time, I don't know, weeks and weeks booking that, just getting together after we were all off work during the week. I remember you and me and Larry a lot sitting at my place there and just going through, looking up clubs, calling clubs, emailing, just trying to figure out what we could do.
Yeah, it was all booked just ourselves, DIY. I mean, I think you and Larry did most of the booking, actually. I think maybe I got a couple of the gigs, if that, but you guys did a lot of that. Trying to get whatever show we could.
I mean, any way we could. We were just going on Craigslist and areas and leaving. I remember I got a show or two that way.
No, there was a few that I remember coming up that we'll talk about, but They were actually pretty good too, some of them.
Yeah, and so we were just doing anything that we could just to get a lead on a show, using every resource, talking to any artists that we knew, just trying. I mean, I would just call clubs and be like, yeah, I got this tour coming through, this date should work out, what can you pay out? I was just like,
I remember when we like one of the first couple shows in North Dakota, you were dealing with like some of the people, and we're like, all right, you're the road manager.
I think we decided that like 10 minutes after we pulled out of the driveway, because we were kind of talking. We were like, all right, who's going to be dealing with this and this, and everyone was like, you're the manager,
right?
And I'm like, all right, so I was fine with that. I had a lot of experience dealing with club owners, shitty club owners, shittier club owners, the shittiest club owners, and this tour gave me experience again with those and even shittier club
More
owners.
than you could exceeded your expectations on the shittiness. Yeah,
but there was a lot of cool people along the way, but that's just how it is. If you're not at a point in a if you have a career and you can book shows with contracts and money up front, that you're fine. But when you're not there, and you're gonna hit the road, you are taking some risks. You really got to hope that people pay. And I think we only had like there's 3 shows that come to mind where they didn't pay.
I can think of a couple,
and we'll kind of get through that. But so
North Dakota, those were all pretty good for the most part, except the cancellation we might have had. And then we moved on from there into Montana. On the way to Montana, we were looking for a place to stay, so you left a Craigslist message post asking for a place to stay for like 4 gross, dirty musicians in a van so we could stay. And this college girl hit us back. And we didn't know at the time, but it ended up we stayed at this college dorm room with this girl, and all the other people were like gone, so she just let us stay there. And
we had like tons of space. In common areas and stuff where we could all just stay. She was like one of the only people staying there at the college till everyone was gone on break, and we just
I don't know what she was thinking just off of Craigslist, random people, and she ended up being really nice, and
she showed us around a bit and stuff, and came out to whatever show we had. But she probably, if she continued doing things like that, she probably got murdered.
Yeah, most likely. I remember her name was Julie, and then I think that was it. And so I hope you're live out there somewhere, yeah.
I do too. And I hope that you stopped doing that. Obviously, we didn't murder you.
Right.
Oh, man, it just kind of thinking about that.
I wish you still had a copy of the message you left, because
it's in one of the tour videos.
Oh, it is, yeah. There's some videos that we made documenting the tour.
Tons of footage from that, which is still on YouTube. If you type in search for Bigfoot tour, it should come up.
I'm gonna have to link some of those videos to these videos or something too. Yeah, those were really good.
And we decided that when we get to Montana, we needed a place to stay, so I posted an ad on Craigslist. I'm gonna pull that up and actually read that to you word for word. I put as a headline, "Get me out of this van." And here's exactly what I wrote. 4 rappers in a van on tour are looking for a place to crash for a while. We left Sioux Falls around 3 p.m. Sunday and we'll be driving straight into Montana at least. If we have to put out, we will, but we prefer not to. Mostly interested in your shower and couch. If you enjoy cooking, we will enjoy eating. Most of us are pleasant to look at and we have charming personalities. One of us has a weird beard, but he is willing to shave if you find it repulsive. Hit me up ASAP if you can help us get out of this van for a while. And a girl named Julie was nice enough to actually hit me back about giving us a place to shower and hang out for a while. But this is Julie. She was nice enough to answer our Craigslist ad and take us 4 scummy rappers in for a little while, and we appreciate that a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're the best.
Okay, so then we did that, and then we also ended up booking a show same day of or something in Montana, or like for the next day. We showed up at a venue and you were just like,
we were still like, if we had a day off, we would still try to get shows when we were on the road, online or just walked into clubs. And so there was once or twice where people were like, oh yeah, you can play here tonight.
Right.
We're just like, huh?
So it was like, okay. I think it was for the next day you got a show booked, and then we went to a copy place and made up like some flyers and did a shitty job of posting them around town real quick.
I remember there was a few people there. I think they gave us a couple pictures of beer or something. Obviously they weren't going to be paying us a bunch of money, but they were just like, sure,
play a show,
play, we have a stage, go for it.
And that was in Missoula, Montana.
Where'd we go after Montana?
After that, we went to Idaho. Was one of the best shows, Boise, Idaho.
The Neurolax. Lux. I remember that as one of the funnest.
We got paid really good, I think. Show was packed somehow. I don't know.
It was a big club.
It was a big club. It was like a packed crowd.
I think that they must just have people there every weekend, no matter what, because I don't even think we played with any local.
No, it was like
acts.
we had the whole show, and they must have like it was like a dance club environment type thing.
I remember before our set there was a drag show going on, so when we got in there early, or I think the drag show was finishing. So I mean, it was like a pretty busy club type setting, but somehow people liked us, and we had a lot of fun.
Yep. And there's some performance footage from that one too out there. Yeah. Then we stayed there, and me and Larry's friends hooked us up with a hotel room and like showed us around or something a little bit. And, that was Idaho, and then
Washington maybe.
Then we went to Washington. Yep. And we did a few shows in Olympia, Washington for sure.
We spent some time up in Snoqualmie. I made everybody go up there to see the
waterfall
and
really
the
nice,
diner from Twin Peaks.
Yep.
And then because Olympia was next to Seattle, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, and then we went and saw the Cobain house and the little
that's right,
there.
the bench and all that stuff. Olympia, Washington was okay. We played with a few locals. One good band, I don't know what they were called, but they were pretty good. And then it was it wasn't packed or anything, but it was decent.
We were in California for
we did like 4 or 5 shows in California.
The whole thing.
Like a bunch.
Those were good.
What sticks out is Santa Monica. We played some shitty show somewhere, and was that the same one where the guy was like, "Oh, he was supposed to." This other rapper was supposed to be on the show, but no, I'm thinking of that one, but I'm thinking of a different one. And he was like, some shitty rapper was
Cadillac Ron or something.
That's what it was.
He was supposed to bring in like a million people.
He was supposed to be on the show, but he's been doing a bunch of heroin out back or something, so he can't show up. He was like passed out in the alley. This is what I'm remembering. I don't remember.
That it was some Cadillac guy. I remember.
Yeah.
And he was doing heroin in the alley. Whatever.
Okay, well, the one good one was Santa Barbara.
Yeah, and that's where they brought us down to that restaurant that had closed.
Yep.
Or it was, after the restaurant closed, and they had a whole big, like, taco bar set up, and they brought all the artists down there, just let us feast. And that was great. Whenever you can get a good free meal on the road.
Yep, we got paid good. We got paid some money, at least, for that. Show was really good, with a couple really good acts.
I think they gave us like a big bag of weed too.
They did. They gave us a ton,
which
of
was legal.
Weed. Yeah. A bunch of free tacos, paid us, and the show was like there was a lot of people at the show.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was really good.
Yeah. And then was that where we played some like youth center?
Well, that's what I was going to get to next,
okay.
But I wanted to say the good show first.
Yeah.
So, and then we played a show outside of LA somewhere. And by this point, we had been doing more Modern Gentleman songs on the shows together, and then we get to this place in LA somewhere outside of there, and it ends up being like this Christian youth center. And it was brutal. Like, our Modern Gentleman songs are very vulgar and a lot of swearing and stuff. And we had to perform in front of these kids at this Christian place. And I remember you were just like, well, let's just still do our normal set like we normally would. And we performed like all these horrible songs in front of these people. But they were still super supportive and nice, and they didn't complain or anything. And
yeah, I think that probably after we left, whoever was in charge probably sat the kids down and like had a heart-to-heart with them about this is what can happen to you if you don't go down the right path.
Yeah.
So at least there was probably that for them. But yeah, they did not throw us out. If there was any show that we should have got shut down, it would have been that. That was something
very awkward the whole time performing it. And then. Oh, we stayed with our friend Louie out there for a little bit and went down to like Malibu Beach and like hung out down there for a little bit.
Yeah, that was fun.
Arizona.
Yes.
Right? That was a good show. Really good show.
That was where, the show, there was one part of the show for me that I was just pissed. Did we only play one show?
Right. Yeah. I remember what you're going to say.
I do a song with, there was
the Sublime cover.
It uses a Sublime beat.
Yeah. Or not cover, but beat.
Yeah, it uses the music. It would use the music from What I Got, and there was a different song I did over it.
Right.
And they had like a drum set and some other shit set up on that stage. I think it was just a house kit.
Right.
And somebody snuck up there when I was performing and just started like playing drums, and I was just pissed because it was stupid. You can't just do that. And of course the guy was drunk and like
During the song,
Yeah,
like, when
I
you're
just-
not ready for it or anything.
You know, and you only have so much time up there anyway, and it's just like if somebody kind of ruins your set or your song, it kind of puts you in a mood. So I remember being kind of pissed about that, but I remember we stayed with my friend Luke.
No, I don't
know if everybody did or what, because we also stayed with Larry's sister was living
Christina.
out there.
Yeah, we stayed down there too. Yeah.
But I remember seeing the biggest pizza I've ever seen
I
in
remember
my
that.
life.
Yeah, the box. I still think about that sometimes.
He called and he's like, yeah, wait till you see this pizza. And the guy shows up. You know, we were hanging out in the garage waiting for the pizza. It's nice out there, drinking beers. And the guy comes up and he has to pop open his trunk and pull the thing out of his trunk.
Yeah.
It's the biggest fucking thing I've ever seen. It was insane.
And then other than that, at the show, that show I thought was pretty good. Other than that incident, it was in Tempe, Arizona. And that was at Stray Cats, it used to be called. It's not there anymore, but it was a pretty popular venue. There was a big crowd, a pretty good sized crowd, and we played with I think some local rappers and stuff, and that was pretty good. I think we got paid for that one too, so it was good.
Overall, that was a good show for everyone, other than the incident.
We went to New Mexico. Yep,
one show, right?
At least, yeah, just one.
I only remember
it was
the
at
one.
the little coffee shop. They were super friendly and nice, but then.
Yeah, they were super nice, and I don't think did we end up being the only ones that performed. I think they had said they were going to get some locals, but they didn't.
Right, so it ended up being
or
just
something like
us,
that. Yeah. But and then at the end they wanted to. I don't know. There really wasn't too many people there, maybe 2 or 3. So you know the show wasn't promoted or anything either. But whatever, it was what it was. But then they gave us a check for like $25.
That it? I thought it was 50.
Or 50. Yeah, it was probably 50. And we were like, oh, that's super nice of you. You know, and, we really appreciate that. But then, of course, the check bounced.
Yeah, we tried to cash it somewhere later on down the road, and the check bounced. We're like, oh, we got some gas money. And then, no, we don't.
No, we don't. Where'd we go next?
And then we went up to Colorado. Yep. Colorado.
Good shows there.
Yeah, we played a few shows in Colorado. I remember Aurora, right outside of Denver. There was like a Blood and Crip gang rivalry like the week before at the venue we played at.
I think we went in there and they said someone got shot.
Yeah, like a week before, a couple days before.
But they weren't going to shut down.
Yeah, they were still going, and they were like, oh, yeah, you guys can still play if you want to, but there's a lot of gang violence around here, or whatever, for the crowd and stuff.
We didn't get gang violence.
No, we didn't. No. We played another show in Colorado Springs. I think it was a strip club that they had converted, or
I remember that stage still.
Yeah, because there was a pole.
You could
and
tell.
Like, yeah, it was like maybe currently still a strip club, but not that night. I don't know. And that was with our friend Brandon, and he had some friends come out. So there was some people at that show, and then we tried to stay with Brandon, but he was living like a pig. It was disgusting.
That's the dog shit.
Dog shit all over the place and stuff. So I think we ended up getting a hotel.
I did.
Or did you? And Larry stayed there.
Larry stayed there, but
or maybe I did too. I don't remember.
That was the one night out of the whole thing where I sprung for a hotel. I was like, I'm paying for a room. Because I think other than that, we only stayed... There was one night where we all really needed some sleep. We went to the Daffodil. I don't remember.
That was in early. Washington, right?
I don't remember. It was kind of earlier on, and we really just needed to get out of that van for a while. So we got like the cheapest
hotel.
I still don't know the smell
That's
there.
That's still probably the worst
indescribable.
hotel I've ever stayed at. Was that one.
It was
Is that
small.
what it was called? The Daffodil?
The Daffodil.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it was only like $35 or something.
And there was wasn't there like blood on the mattress or something?
Oh, yeah. It was tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just tiny. But other than that, when we went in on that, I think the only other time that we got a hotel room
was Colorado.
Because I was like, where am I going to sleep? You know, I can't sleep on the floor.
No.
You know, there's 4 extra people in this house. They have a couch.
Yeah. There's a couch.
You're like, I can't sleep on the floor. There's piles of dog shit all over.
Yeah.
And they had like a fire going. So I just remember that intensified the smell. Fire in the living room and then piles of steaming dog shit. Yeah, because it was winter, so I couldn't. Otherwise, I was like, I'll sleep in the van, and I was like, nope, I'll die if I do that.
Oh, that's right. It was. Yeah, it was cold out. Yep. And Larry ended up staying there. I think he was trying to hook up with this chick that was there or something, and we had to go get him the next morning, and he was like laying with her in a pile of dog shit somewhere in the corner. From there, we went on to Nebraska.
That was
A
great.
few shows in Nebraska, 3 I think. A couple really good ones, another really horrible one. So the average is kind of balancing out because we had like a few good ones and then a really bad one, a few good ones, really bad one.
Yeah, it's like you'd have a few good shows and you just know, like, okay, this next city we go into, this is gonna be awful.
Yep.
There
There was a couple good ones.
The one guy got us maybe 3 shows.
Yeah, RBO I think was his name. He was a nice guy. We stayed with him. He had a really cool like studio set up in his place.
No dog shit. on
No
the
dog
floor.
shit anywhere. No.
It was nice.
We played in
Kearney,
whatever. Lexington.
Omaha, and then we did
and
one in Omaha.
Yep.
Yeah. And Omaha, was it the Hideaway or the Hideout or something?
Good venue,
that
good
was
show.
awesome.
That was probably one of the 2 good ones, maybe the best one. And then, I remember a good crowd, good venue. And then we played at either the Kearney or the Lexington one.
The Kearney one was good.
There was a pretty packed crowd. After you rapped, this guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, that was really great. You guys got to meet my girlfriend."
Yeah.
And then she comes up and he's like, "She's a stripper in town. You guys got to come off. You have your day off tomorrow. Come to the strip club and see my girlfriend dance." So the next day we went to this little strip club somewhere in Nebraska, and it was weird because we were the only ones there. And she comes out and she's dancing and stuff, and like,
and then we're like,
it
why
just
are
felt
we doing
awkward.
this?
Yeah,
We didn't have anything else to do.
we didn't have anything to do, and he
I think
invited us to watch.
Well, I think they let us in for free, and like,
Okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because otherwise we would have never paid. The way that we had money, we wouldn't have paid to get into a strip club.
Yeah.
That was not in the budget. So I remember it, it's like, oh yeah, we'll get you guys in and this. We're like, all right. Otherwise we would just walk around malls killing
We would
time.
go to the malls a lot, yep.
If we had like a day to kill and we didn't know what to do, we would just find a mall and then you just walk around and
Yeah, go to the food
hang
court
out.
or whatever, and department stores. That's where the whole shitting on floors thing came from, the joke.
Yeah, we would make videos where someone was pretending to shit in the department store.
Yeah.
And then post those online.
And then Lexington, the worst show ever.
Yeah,
Of
you
all
can
the
tell
tour
them
or
about
the ever that I've ever played, because we go to this tiny little town on Valentine's Day in Nebraska. It's cold out. We go to this like rec center. There's nobody there. There's not even a bar or anything to get drinks at. There's nothing. We were supposed to get paid. We didn't. And before we could even perform, an amp caught on fire. They had to shut the whole show down. So we didn't even get to perform. Didn't get paid. And the building almost burned down.
Well, the part that made me that was the worst though is that the guy who was running the show still offered to pay us, which that is the right thing to do, because if you say, hey, come out and do this show, I have sound, I'm going to provide the sound and I'm going to pay you, and then you get there and they don't have the sound and the show can't happen, it's not the artist's fault. Whatever. I mean, obviously, there's nothing he probably could have done to prevent it at that time, but
Right.
But whatever. So he offered to pay us, which I feel was the right thing to do. But then the other artist who booked the show, and I heard this conversation and I was just like mad. He offered to pay and he was just like, "Oh no, don't worry about it." And I told him later, I was like, "That's cool for you, but like we were kind of counting on that." And since he was still offering,
It was like a couple $100 or something.
it was $100. I'm pretty sure it was $100.
Okay. Still.
And I was just like, man, I'm like, we're not gonna be mad at the guy because he's letting us stay at his house and he did a lot of stuff for us.
Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, man, if you do that, because we were the first out of town artists he ever had booked for anything.
Okay.
I remember, and I told him, I was like, if you do this if that same situation happened with some other people, they may beat your ass. I'm like, you really, like, when you tell people you're gonna pay them, you really gotta pay them unless something super wacky happens.
Right. See, that's why you were the tour manager. You're good at that stuff. But Nebraska? Then we went back, I think, to Minnesota from there, and then
I think Milwaukee.
Oh, we went to Milwaukee on this one.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we did.
Pretty much always did.
Yep,
'Cause
we
I
went
had
to
good
Milwaukee a
connections
bunch.
there.
Yep.
That's my favorite other city to go to. I love Milwaukee.
Yeah.
The shows were always fun. The people were always fun.
Right.
I just love the city. I've gone back there just to hang out for a night or two.
Yep.
Shout out to anybody in Milwaukee watching this who did anything for us. You're awesome.
Yeah. So I don't remember what venue or what show that was that we played that time, but we ended up going there a bunch. So.
Probably the Miramar
Was that the
Theater.
Miramar? Yeah,
I'm
Miramar
guessing.
Theater. Yep.
That's usually where most of the shows were that
Yeah.
we did there. I think I remember throwing a keg party
Yep.
Before we hit the road to raise funds.
Raise money, yep.
And then for the second tour...
Same year or shortly after that, we did an East Coast tour, went all the way over to New York, up and down that whole East Coast area a little bit. This was the Great Escape tour. Mm-hmm. It was with MC Pigpen, Pat Main, and Dusk Raps. And then we did a bunch of shows with Kosha Dills on it.
So we had more people involved in trying to book that time. So
and it was more of nice. And this was an official MG tour, Modern Gentleman tour.
Yep.
We were doing all Modern Gentleman sets and all that, so...
Yeah, we had the album by then. So that was good. So where did we... That one we started in Minneapolis.
Okay,
or Superior, maybe.
We did Superior first, probably.
And then...
We went to Minneapolis, played at the Honey. Really good show.
That was great. That was a
good venue, good place, and played that.
Is that still there?
It was before all the shutdowns, but I don't know if they're going to make it through or not.
Hopefully they do.
Yeah. So then we went to maybe Milwaukee again. I don't remember where we went to.
Yeah, we did Milwaukee
probably Milwaukee.
Again.
Oh, and we did Racine. We did that, what was it, Dan Fest or...
Oh, yeah. That was cool, except there was too many kids there again.
It was like an all-age kid thing, and we were not as appropriate for those types of venues as a Modern Gentleman performance.
I remember, I think we did a couple covers then to kind of tone it down.
We
did like Jump Around from House of Pain and something else.
And that was like the Family Power Music guys, who we worked with a lot. And then we went to Illinois somewhere. I forget what it was called, DeKalb, or maybe one of those small Illinois
That sounds
towns.
right.
Played a show there. I remember we stayed at this vacant building upstairs. I don't remember the routing on this one as much. Anyway, we went somewhere east.
I mean, New York sticks out the most, and then Maine.
Rhode Island?
Rhode Island.
Massachusetts was really good, too.
Yeah.
So either way, somehow we got from Illinois over to the East Coast all the way.
So I remember in New York, we did a handful of shows there, and New Jersey. There was one in New Jersey. Or I think that was just like the one where it was mostly just you
and me.
We went over
and
there.
Then I performed. It was like at some little secret, like, hidden apartment venue thing.
Yeah.
And this was like with my old activist political friends that had hooked me up with the show. I don't know why we did this one on our own.
They didn't want Modern Gentlemen. They just wanted
They wanted like my political music and stuff that I had been doing a long time before all this.
I just remember going from New York to New Jersey. You got to pay like $8 to drive through that tunnel, and I'm like, why are we paying so much money to drive through this tunnel?
Right.
That was dumb. New York was just fun because I thought it was like a big carnival inside of a dumpster.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was just kind of weird being somewhere where they just pile the trash on the streets. Well, they have to, because if you had dumpsters and garbage cans, that would take up half your fucking sidewalk.
Yeah, and
everywhere.
It smells like shit everywhere you go, just garbage. Where did we play in New York? I remember the best one that stood out to me, we played in Rochester, New York.
Upstate, right?
Upstate New York. That was really good. That was like a packed show. And we played
in the Bowery in New York too.
Oh,
the Bowery,
that's
the Bowery.
Right. Yep.
That was awesome. I remember that one being really cool too.
We played another one. Okay, we played the Massachusetts one, Worcester, however you say it.
Yeah, that was fun too.
That was at the Lucky Dog Music Hall. That was really good. Another really packed show. Really good set. Mm-hmm. There's some footage of that one still out there somewhere too. Was that another?
No. West Virginia was the one.
Well, that was another one.
That's the one. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, this was booked like on the way back, short notice. Oh, what it was is we played Pennsylvania. It was like another political conference thing. And then somebody I knew from there, we did that. She was like, "Oh, I want you to play in West Virginia." We went and played a show, Modern Gentleman show in West Virginia, where she had just printed out a picture of us off of like MySpace or something and like hand wrote out, "Modern Gentleman will be here."
No, she wrote Bliss. It was just you.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but I mean, she tried really hard, and she set up the show, and I believe
she paid
we
us
got
like
some
a couple
money.
$100 or something, I think, and
probably out of her own pocket. I can't see that venue.
Yeah.
But the thing I remember though is the people there, and sorry West Virginia, but this shit was gross. I remember going in there and people are doing meth in the bar and offering us meth.
Different
and I'm
times.
Like,
I mean,
no, I do not. It's like nobody really offers you any cool drugs,
right?
When you're on tour, it's like, hey, do you want some meth? Or you can probably do heroin with Cadillac Ron out back if you catch him. He's probably passed out. Just grab the needle and take what's left. Like, no.
We played that show in West Virginia. That was like, I mean, it got us a couple $100 for like gas money home and stuff like that. And then
I don't think we had anything cancel or anybody like stiff us.
No.
And that
Overall,
was a
that
bit
tour
of a
was,
shorter run than the first one.
I don't know. A bunch of shows from the Midwest out to the East Coast. And then we probably did another return home show once we got back to Wisconsin. Yeah, that was good.
That's it. Yeah. And we sold a good amount of CDs on that tour.
Yeah. So that was good. So we ended up doing basically a whole nationwide tour that year because we did West Coast and East Coast on 2 separate things.
We saw a million faces and we rocked them all. Just like Bon Jovi. So.
And then after that, we pretty much got back to the Midwest, and we did a bunch of Midwest touring periodically here and there. After that, mainly like Wisconsin, Minnesota. Did a bunch more Milwaukee things. The Dangerous Guide to Touring Modernly, or whatever you would call
Exactly what you said, I would call it that.